Hello and welcome to CX Today. My name is Charlie, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Mark Wood, Senior Product Manager at Streem. Mark, thank you very much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. Thanks so much for having me, Charlie.
Well, it's great that you're joining us, and I'm really looking forward to this discussion today, where we're going to be talking a little bit about how you can add video to Salesforce. And I think this is a really interesting topic because kind of customers are used to traditional communication channels such as phone and email, and now there are social channels and messaging apps and more. Considering this new sort of this new customer channel engagement mix that we have, where do you think video can really add value to support workflows?
Yeah, I think video can really add value to those support workflows where there's a need for visual assets when collecting images or videos in a diagnostic use case, a diagnostic situation. Super valuable when it's necessary in an environment for assessing for troubleshooting. So it can really help create that shared context between you as the support professional and the customer that you're looking to help out. It also creates kind of that shared empathy between both of you, where you wouldn't really have that on a phone call. Additionally, like where we see a lot of value here is in situations where the de facto or default way to go about this might be sending a technician on site. That is expensive, that is time consuming. You have to schedule that with your customer. So video can really help streamline that workflow there. And also because that's the de facto option, you're reducing your carbon footprint by using video. Great for the environment, win-win for the business and the environment there. And when I think about apps that I use or folks in market that are doing this well, one that pops into my head as an example is the Front Door app, which is an app you can use and download to get help as a homeowner around your home. So having trouble with my dishwasher, I can tap a couple buttons, get connected with a plumbing expert who can help me right on that call, resolve my issue. So we're seeing more and more of it today, and I think really in those contexts where that visual shared context between the support professional and the customer is necessary. Video is a great option.
Yeah, I think those diagnostic use cases are very are great. I mean, I think I saw one utilities company in the UK save an eye-watering sum of money just by kind of doing remote boiler. I think it was like a boiler service or something like that.
Yeah.
And the savings there are real, and the carbon footprint as well is now something that's also, as you mentioned, is very is a staggering saving too. But it kind of makes me think, video's been around for quite a while now. Still, a lot of contact centers aren't using it, and I imagine that's because of a lot of the challenges that they encounter when they kind of think about taking video on. What challenges do you see them facing quite often when they're trying to integrate video into their Salesforce workflows?
Yeah, I think, in today's world, especially for folks who are using Salesforce as their CRM, their source of truth for their customers, when you're in IT or using a computer to do your job, you generally don't just have one piece of software that you're using for your entire workflow across your job to be done, to meet your goals. You'll have multiple platforms, multiple pieces of software. And oftentimes those platforms are highly specialized. They're really good at what they do, which is great. The issue arises in that typically out of the box, they don't play well together. They don't integrate deeply, which leads to challenges both from kind of how I think about it is both from an end user perspective, the person using the software, as well as the business. And from the end user perspective, when you have two pieces of software that are kind of this bifurcated experience, there's a lot of context switching that happens there. And when I see the need to, start a video diagnostic, video chatting, I have to go to a different web app. I'm losing the context I have in Salesforce for my customer. That can be frustrating, time consuming, a lot of back and forth there. There's also no data connection between those two things inherently, those two platforms. So I have my video call. I take some images, maybe get some AR information like model or serial number from my customer. And now all that data lives in this other platform, not within Salesforce. So I need to maybe copy and paste that over, or every time I need to reference that, I have to find that call over here. So, that can be a super frustrating experience from an end user. I've certainly felt that with software that I use to do my job. Which, from a business standpoint, if you think about those challenges for my user, I think a natural solution for that is, well, let's integrate this software. And from a business standpoint, that leads to additional challenges such as the actual technical integration. So paying expensive developers the time, the resources to build a custom integration between these two platforms. And then spending the time to implement that and set that up. Again, more expensive developer time there takes energy away from other initiatives, budget away from other initiatives. And then this is a big one too. The last one I'll hit on is customization. So Salesforce is huge on customization. We use Salesforce at Stream. We highly customize it to our workflow, which means that, there's not only an upfront cost to customizing, but there's an ongoing cost to customizing that businesses can often overlook there, where you have to continue to pay these expensive developers to customize, as inherently your workflow will change within Salesforce. So really it's on two sides there, where you have those challenges from an end user perspective, and then those challenges from a business perspective.
Yeah, I think you've done a really great job there of of laying out those challenges, actually, from those integration problems to those kind of copying and pasting issues, and all the way through to the customization point at the end. And given all of those problems, I know kind of Stream has its own video integration into the Salesforce ecosystem. How are you helping your customers overcome those problems?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we approach it from that lens of how we're helping our end users that are using our integration, as well as how we're helping the business. And really, first and foremost, when we go to build an integration like this, we do it with the same product values that underline Stream generally, which should be easy to use. It should be an elegant user experience. And it should be purpose built for the function and the job to be done. So what this means from a business perspective is, instead of having to pay developers and go through a scoping process of building this custom integration, we have an app that you can download from the Salesforce App Exchange. It's packaged, it's ready to go. A couple clicks and you can install that on your Salesforce instance. So you're not having to go through that expensive custom integration build. And then once you've downloaded it, we also make it super simple to set up and configure. There's only a couple pieces of data that you need to configure this for your instance to get it up and going. It's a super quick process. And then the third one about customization, this one's big. Like we built this from the bottom up with customization in mind. So it's super flexible when and where you can embed a stream call directly within Salesforce, the data connection, managing that data. All of this can be in a non-technical way. You don't have to pay a developer to do this. You can customize this to your use case, to your need on an ongoing basis, and really reduce or eliminate those costs that you might pay, those expensive Salesforce developers for. And then from the end user perspective, briefly as well, because the integration embeds Stream directly within Salesforce, you're no longer context switching between going from one platform to the other. I can easily start a Stream call where it makes sense in context of the case I'm working on or the lead I'm working on within Salesforce. I have all that contextual information around the video call right there. And on the data integration level, we built a deep integration between Stream and Salesforce, so that the video that you take of your session, the images or stream shots that you took, AR information you gathered, notes that you took, all of that is directly integrated into Salesforce, creating a record within Salesforce tied to that customer that I created the call from, so that you can reference that in the future. Because it's like, as a quick anecdote, like as a someone who gets support in my own life, like there's nothing more frustrating than contacting a company that you've gotten support from previously and them not remembering or not understanding the previous interaction that I had. I already told you this. We already walked through this. And by having a direct integration in that data in context of the customer you're serving, we really want to provide a delightful experience where our users, those support professionals, have that shared context so that you're avoiding that negative user experience of, we already walked through this. So really, yeah, we've built it with both like the business and the end user in mind there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fascinating, that for we've had this concept of omni-channel for years almost, and yet at the top of any kind of service experience paper that looks at the challenges and what frustrates customers most, that having to repeat themselves comes at the top
Yes.
so often. So it's great that you can implement video in a way which doesn't sort of disjoint the customer experience. And I think there was lots of other really great points there. And you mentioned quite a few times about how Stream is embedding video into Salesforce. And I think it'd be great now to maybe move on to some specific examples of how video can be embedded into Salesforce workflows to improve video. So could you maybe give me some of those examples and potentially share some of the benefits of those?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, kind of to hit on maybe two high level example use cases, workflows. The first one would be in a support context where I'm support professional within Salesforce and I'm managing my cases and my contacts within maybe the service app within Salesforce in an inbound support role where a phone call comes in or an email comes in and I see the need for visual diagnostics or be able to have a shared visual context between myself and the customer. I can then, right from my case, my contact within Salesforce, click a button or click a tab, depending on your customization option, and embed and start a stream call. All that information about my customer, their name, their phone number, reference information is automatically pre-filled in that invite. No copy and pasting data there. Can start my video call, diagnose the issue on the call, help them talk about next steps. And then after the call, all that information is inherently tied to my case that I started the call from, so that if we need to follow up, if we need to take next steps, the next time that customer contacts me, I have a record of this information in Salesforce that I can reference. That's kind of one use case around maybe Mark needs help with his grill. It's not igniting. I call into my grill company. I send an email. They send me a stream invite. I click a link on a text message. We start a video call. I can get help right there on the call, as opposed to having to wait for them to send a technician on site or go back and forth via a phone call or via email. It's solved right there on the video call. I think another use case too is a little bit different around maybe more of a B2B use case. So if you think about a technician who's in the field, a specialized person in the field, needing help from home base in order to troubleshoot an issue to help the customer that they're on site to help, is another use case for Salesforce. So if I'm trying to troubleshoot a water heater in my customer's home and I feel that I need some extra help, extra information from the folks back working in the office, can easily start a stream call there from my contact within Salesforce. Have that shared context, walk them through, oh, let me grab that model serial number. I'll look up some more information here for you. You need to do this to help repair it. You can do that all on the video call. And then the beauty is because that information is integrated into Salesforce and tied to that record, that technician in the field can always reference that information in the future. So if it's for training purposes or to follow up on the work order from the customer, all that information is captured and hosted directly within Salesforce. And so in both cases, some benefits of those, of course, are the ease of use, super easy to just click and start a Stream call right from the person you're helping within Salesforce. There's that deep data integration, so you no longer have that bifurcated experience between the two platforms and having to go back and forth. You get that shared customer context and that empathy, which I think is a super important part of video integration and Stream's video integration. And then one to touch on briefly too is reporting and analytics. So because this data is now in Salesforce and Salesforce has super powerful reporting capabilities, you can go from being reactive to more proactive about, when does video help in situations? Where can we double down on this? You can really gain those insights as a business that help you optimize your workflow that ultimately creates a better customer experience.
Yeah, lots of really great points there. From both a B2B and a B2C perspective, I think I'm going to phone my grill company might be the most American sentence that I ever heard. I thought it was great, and the reporting and analytics point at the end I think is very important too, especially for kind of the modern day contact center. Just kind of the final point. Obviously, we've mentioned Stream quite a lot, and a lot of the benefits that come, and how you helping businesses overcome their challenges within with Salesforce video integrations. There will be some competitors which claim to do similar things. So I think maybe my final question to you, Mark, would be kind of why should brands choose to work with Stream to create those workflows that you've just discussed over other vendors?
Yeah, great question, of course. I think firstly, as I touched on previously, Stream is easy to use and understand and easy to integrate, has an elegant UX, and scales without worrying about storage costs. We make it super straightforward, dare I say fun, to meet and see and connect with your customers. And to hit on a couple of those points or to expand on those, storage cost wise, we know with Salesforce storage can be expensive. So we built the integration with that in mind, which means that you can access full resolution stream shots, which are the images that you take during your calls. You can access the full resolution video of your session without taking any storage in your Salesforce instance. So as a business, you don't have to worry about using Stream and incurring additional costs within Salesforce, because those videos, you might have a 15, 20-minute long video in some cases, and those add up in terms of storage. And so we've built the integration with that in mind. As Salesforce users ourselves, we know that can add up. So that's definitely a differentiator for our video integration experience. And I think, one of the overarching motifs and themes really here is we do take values like an elegant user experience, ease of use, something being powerful and purpose built to heart when building Stream as well as our video integration. And one of the reasons for that and the differentiators there is, as a user, there's nothing more frustrating than having software that is cumbersome, that is hard to use, that doesn't work the way that I expect. And in those situations where, I'm trying to help my customer and the software's not working well for me, that energy, that kind of frustration, that negative energy that you're feeling, that can be passed right down to the customer that I'm serving and create a more negative customer experience for my customer. And so, Stream inherently making the lives of our Salesforce users, our Stream users easier and creating a delightful user experience, that in turn gets passed down to their customers, so that if I'm relaxed, if I like the software that I'm using, that vibe, that empathy, especially on a video call, is passed down to our customers, which really at the end of the day brings me and our team at Stream a lot of joy.
Yeah, I think again there's lots of really great differentiators there in terms of the UI all the way through to kind of the resolution of the videos created. So lots of Lots of really great stuff, and I think this is going to be an more important conversation as time goes on that we've had today in terms of more contact centers are looking at how they can kind of use their orientate their operations around their CRM as opposed to maybe a more traditional contact center platforms. I think this has been a really helpful discussion, and I think maybe it's a great place to end today's chat too. So thank you very much for joining me today, Mark.
Thank you so much, Charlie. It was great to chat.
Absolutely. And also, thanks to everybody for watching. Bye for now.